Hello everyone and welcome to the 16th episode of the Orcocast. Woo! We did it! 16 episodes and it's still going strong. With me, my beautiful co-host Lord Val Gaming, streamer extraordinaire, and down below, my beautiful moderator and co-host Bum Bum.
Hello.
We have a stacked program today. We are talking about Rogue Company, we are talking about Grounded, we are talking about TV ads in video games, and we are talking about the reshuffling of Ubisoft and what that means for their future. Possibly. Maybe. Let's wage some war on video games. Let's go. Rogue Company. Who played it?
I played it.
Nice. Bam?
Didn't touch it at all.
Damn it. I need to get you into some games. So, Rogue Company is a new competitive shooter by Hi-Res Games. These guys also made Paladins, they made Smite, they made Realm Royale, I think, and they also made Tribes 2. So one of my niche listeners has his day now, and they are actually a pretty good publisher, and they were a staple on Mixer because they had an exclusive contract with them for broadcasting Paladins events. So that's why Paladin was so strong over at Mixer, and that's why I got into Paladins in the first place, which I very much liked. What is Rogue Company? Rogue Company, like I said, is a competitive 4v4 shooter with currently 2 game modes that is in beta. 2 game modes? It's called Strikeout and Demolitions. Strikeout is holding a point for a certain amount of time with a limited amount of lives, so each team has 12 lives, and Demolition is basically plant the bomb like in CSGO or Valorant. Also with a 1 life counter for everyone. To give it a very brief summary, I like the game a lot. Despite some issues I have with it, I think the core gameplay is fantastic. It speaks to me on a higher level. I like the characters they have, especially with the special abilities that are not really, let's say, overpowered or really game breaking, but those abilities can rescue you or can turn the tide in combat if you use them right. And I think what they did is, out of the gate, the characters so far, at least the characters I've played, I've seen in action, have been really well balanced. I've never experienced anything broken regarding their abilities. For me, I like it a lot. What do you say, Val? What's your?
I do like it. I mean, I think the gameplay. Also, one thing you haven't mentioned on when you were talking about the game is a shooter, but it's on third person. It's not on first person. So basically, it plays like Fortnite or any other third person games. So the thing with the game is it's highly. I just see it's a highly competitive game. They are focusing on esports. It's obvious. It's a Counter Strike, CS:GO, third person CS:GO basically, with abilities. So yeah, I see where the game is going to. It's not my style though. I played it and I enjoyed it, but I can have it on small doses. I think the game is just trying to do what it's trying to do. It's just being a competitive game for full teams and maybe someday do like championships and stuff. But yeah, I don't see, as a casual gamer, I don't really know what the appeal of the game is for me. You know what I mean? To me, it's not the it's a really like competitive, but it's not really for casual players.
Yes, I get that. I can see that point fully. So here's the thing: I would describe myself as a casual gamer as well, but then again, I played so much Counter-Strike back in the day that this is probably why it clicks with me so well. I never really played Counter-Strike in the sense that I played it competitively, but I remember LAN parties I had where we spent all night playing Counter-Strike. 16 people, one bomb, and hours of gameplay. And I think this is why this game resonates so well with me. I think when they this is one of my concerns I was talking about earlier. The focus on esports might kill the game already before it even starts. Huh?
Yeah, sorry, because that's what Blizzard did with StarCraft 2, right? Essentially, they came out and it was pretty much just focused on esports.
Yes.
And that game didn't do too well. It did eventually, especially with the expansions. But as it went on, the game died because it was just too focused on balancing the game around esports. There wasn't enough until they added the arcade for casual players to really sink into, other than the campaign. And even the campaign, at some points, I heard that, like, unless you were micromanaging or were good at micros, you couldn't do too well at the difficulties where the game was supposed to be played.
So yes, I could see that, and I mean, it might be just that high-res is going to, like they did in Paladins, where you have a casual mode and a ranked mode, that they just split that up. They have a ranked league for all the sweats and a casual mode for all the casual players. I can fully see that. Casual players, but still, the point well made, and I'm firmly on the side. Even if you play it casually, the game is super sweaty. Like playing in a towel sweaty, like November would say. And I feel like this might be already a nail in the coffin for the game before it even starts. Because how can you capture a large audience if you're just focused on a smaller audience? I like the game a lot. I'm very invested in it. I'm not sure if I'm good enough to play any kind of ranked stuff for now, but yeah.
The game is missing a couple of things. The one thing it's missing is the game needs number one fluidity. It feels still a little bit clunky to be a shooter game. Second, it's focusing on competitive gaming, which doesn't mean, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to flop anyway. I think it's going to be successful and it's going to have a lot of people, but it's going to put people off as well. And third, it needs a progression system. There is nothing to progress towards. So, like, there is no ranking, there is no season pass, there is nothing. You can't level up your characters, you can't do nothing. There is no sense of achievement. There is nothing to hook you into the game and say, keep coming back, keep playing it, and you might, you might earn this thing. So that might come in the future, which is more than probably, because it's a beta, so they probably gather some feedback and start adding stuff. But yeah, like I said, as a casual player, the first impression was, oh, this is sweaty. This is I'm gonna be match, not now, but in 3 months I'm gonna be match made with this, these few people that just play this game and nothing else. So it's gonna be a tough one.
So to jump off on something you said, and what my second very big main gripe is, I think if you launch into a beta, that is just me, you don't have to agree with it, progression system, season pass, and everything should already be in place. I think they launched the game prematurely. The game is full of bugs, the game is full of glitches. I've seen a lot of weird stuff happening on screen, and this is too much for something called a beta. A beta is normally to test how the server stability is, how the network code holds up, but it's not bug testing it to that extent what they are doing right now. That's just too much to ask. I don't feel like a beta tester, I feel like a bug hunter at this point.
And I didn't experience that.
I had stuff like people would vanish from my party,
No,
just being
never happened.
disconnected, and still they were shown as being disconnected on my end, but they were still in the game. I've had random enemies appear out of nowhere right in front of me. I had what was the other thing?
Did you play on PC or did you play?
I play on PC. It's absolutely terrible optimized at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
So
no issues.
yeah, I'm just saying that this is not acceptable for a beta.
Mhm.
In no way, shape or form. But still, it doesn't mean I don't like the game. The core gameplay is fantastic. Absolutely. And I will stand by that. If they don't change that, they really have something on their hands here. Bum bum. Do you want to add anything?
No. Honestly, I don't care about a game, so yeah.
I mean, that's okay. I can see why. It's not your type of game.
Yeah, like I used to play Counter-Strike, but I'm kind of played out. So, and if I'm gonna play where I want to feel competitive, it's gonna be a fighting game. It's not gonna be a shooter.
You want to add anything, Val?
No. I think that's probably the game is gonna do wonderful, and I'm sure it will. They have to add core stuff like we all complain about season pass and everything, but season pass at least gives you something to aim for, because you may like the season pass, you might purchase it, and you might say, "Oh, this skin is super cool," or "I like this thing," or "I like this badge," or "I like that thing." So basically, season pass gives you something to. I mean, remember, we can't forget that the game is free, so obviously there's going to be microtransactions. They have to make money somehow.
It's not free. It's free. It comes free with Game Pass on Xbox, but it's not free for other platforms.
Okay, I'm talking about Xbox, yeah, because it's a platform that I play, so it's gonna come on Xbox with Game Pass. So obviously, being free on Game Pass is not going to cost you a penny. There's going to be microtransactions because this game tend to have microtransactions. We all know Smite has microtransactions left, right, and center. So it's basically going to be the same thing. It's the same company, it's the same stuff. So in my opinion, it's gonna have them if they have a season pass, which they
will have one.
give you. Yeah, they give you some stuff or something. Something to aim for, or maybe even the characters have like a progression within the characters, because right now it's just to me it felt just very simple. It felt playing. There was nothing to aim for. I jump into the game, I win, and that's about it. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
So I mean, you earn currency, which I guess the currency is gonna go towards maybe skins or maybe something like that.
At the moment, you can unlock. So on PC, it's like you pay 15, 30, or 55 euros for the game.
But this is early access only.
Yes.
I actually think the game is going to go free everywhere.
Yes, they will put it free after a point. They just gate basically their beta.
Okay, so the game is gonna be free everywhere.
Yeah, it's gonna be free, but for now it's not free.
Okay, that's what I meant.
For now it's not free. It's going to be free, but this is how the system works. So if you buy it on PC,
you get like extra stuff.
You get a founder's spray basically, or whatever that means.
Yeah.
And depending on the tier you bought, you have unlocked either a few heroes, most of them, or all of them. And I just bought the standard edition with I think 8 of 15 heroes unlocked or something like that. And I just unlocked my first other hero yesterday. And they cost a lot of in-game currency. So the way this works is you have contracts which give you like around 500 of the in-game currency. like win 4 matches, play 7 matches, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And per match, you earn around 200 to 300 of that in-game currency, depending on your performance. So I do not perform that well yet, but you need 10,000 of that in-game currency to unlock a character, or even 15,000. I think the cheapest one is 5.
Okay.
And that's gonna take you a while to unlock all of them.
Okay, fair enough. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously it's going to have that, isn't it? Like Smite has a very, 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 very similar system.
Yes.
I would say.
And
almost
Paladins as
identical.
well.
So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's a free-to-play game; they have to make money, and that's the way of monetizing them. So yeah, I mean that. Like I said, let's hope it does well, and it creates even more, a bit of a different platform, because I've really never seen like a Counter-Strike kind of game on third person, which is cool because you get to see your characters, not only the weapons and everything. So yeah, it's kind of nice. So.
I mean, one of the most important mechanics in this game is actually swapping angles, shoulders, how the camera is placed. That's actually pretty neat. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was Rogue Company. I give it a 10 battle axes out of 10 dead elves. And we can move on to Grounded, which has been released this week as well on Game Pass. And our spider expert over there, Lord Val, is going to tell us everything about it.
I hate the spiders. Right. So basically, what happens on Grounded is basically, if you have watched the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and they put it on a game, there you go. That's what the game is all about. You are tiny. You can choose one of 4 kids. There's 2 little girls and 2 boys. So basically, you choose one of them, and they have like specific stats and everything. And you are tiny. So basically, you're in the garden of your house. Yeah, like grass is 5 times your size, and are as big as you. So you kind of have to basically gather resources and build your house and eat and drink and research. So it's very similar in some way. I have been told, I've never played it, but the Forest, do you know the Forest? It's kind of like a survival game as well.
I play Forest every Thursday with Jelly Rose in a costume, actually. So, yes.
The system is pretty similar to the Forest. That's what I'm told.
Are there cannibal monsters out of a H.R. Geiger nightmare as well? Because that's actually pretty cool about the Forest.
Yeah, there is some, not monsters, but there is a lovely bunch of spiders which they will jump on you when you least expect it, and when you're not. Usually they jump when you're not looking at the screen for some reason. Yeah, they can actually jump from anywhere. If they're in the trees or something, they can jump down, or they're hanging sometimes in the spider webs, and they can jump down on you without even expecting it. And to make it even creepier, the guys who did the game, which by the way, if you're listening to this, please remove it. Their eyes turn red. So you have a spider that jumps on you, which scares the life out of you. Secondly, that spider looks at you and is making eye contact with red eyes. The first thing you have to, the first thing you do is, I don't know about you guys, but my first instinct is run away.
Do you know who that game made?
No.
We were talking about them last week, and it's a developer I have a gripe with. It's Obsidian, actually. The guys who also made... Yeah.
Obsidian?
Yeah.
There you go. You're gonna love it.
I don't know if I'm going to love it, to be honest.
The game is good. The game is really good, actually. It's only on early access. It's not really like a full-on game. It's only early access, and the thing with the game is, it's got things. I can see the potential of the game. I can see how far it could go. It just they need to add the stuff. Obviously, it's pretty much very short lived as of now. But obviously, their argument is it's only early access. We're still adding stuff, and we will add more stuff in the future. The game has a lot of it has a lot of stuff to do, but then the story kind of like it's a bit stale. There is not much going on, but I guess this is because of the early access. There is a lot of building. There is a lot of material, resources and bugs. You got stinky bugs, which are scary as heck. Just thinking about them, I just get goosebumps. The spiders are scary as heck. You got ants. Some of them are friendly. Some of them are going to attack you. Ladybugs, which are friendly, but if you touch the bomb, they're gonna go back to you and kill you.
Well, they can
Uh,
try.
yeah, there is there's a few insects. Just now, there is just a few insects. There's still, I guess they're going to add a lot more as the game goes on. But it's very, like I said, it is very, very limited. Just now, it's still a bit limited. You can still build the stuff. I built my own fortress, which was raided by a spider, which actually, by the way, I called the spider in the end. I gave it a name because it took over my house. Like literally, the spider was sitting in the middle of my house after I built everything. Like the house with. I'm not joking. So the spider, this spider decides because I built in the house. Okay, Bang, hear me out. I built the house. Usually, you build the house on the floor and you kind of like you have spiders coming in and out and bugs and ants and they destroy your house. Okay, so my idea was, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go and build the house on top of a rock. So there is a rock on one of the sides of the map and there is a lot of resources around. So I was like, this is brilliant. It's a perfect place. So I built my house on top of the rock and everything. The house is massive. It's got like a full-on tower going all the way up, which you can see everything on the map. This spider is out. Actually, minutes later, I realized I'm building the house right next to a spider where the spider sleeps. That's one thing. And my house is right on the way of another spider. So that other spider saw me building stuff. And she was like, oh, what you got in there? And it started like, firstly, the spider killed me. And then the spider decided to start breaking my house. Like literally just head bumping everything in my house. So it started destroying my house. At one point, the spider decided to stop breaking my house, but the spider literally sat in the middle of my living room in my house and it wouldn't move. Yeah, I called her Antonia. She lives with me now. Every time. Every time.
Yeah, so essentially you build a better place than its original lair. So it's like, yeah, this is my life now.
Yes, I made I made a girlfriend, and she's a spider, and I'm not afraid of saying it. I go.
Imagine what those 8 legs can do.
And she lives with me. I spawn, and she's there with me in home. She's there to welcome me. So she's super nice, though. Um,
Have you ever seen how spiders get their babies?
I don't want to know. I really don't want to know because the spiders creep the heck out of me, and I actually get scared. If you see me, like all I do in that game is scream. I don't know what I scream, and for some reason my chat loves seeing me in pain. I nearly had a heart attack when one of the spiders jumped. I was going to chop a berry. I was just minding my own business. I was going to chop a berry. I grabbed my axe and I'm just running towards the berry. And all of a sudden, on top of the berry, there is a freaking massive spider with the red eyes glowing, looking at me, dropping down. Man, I left the stream. I walked out because and the scream was worth of anything else. The game has a lot of cool stuff. It's better play with friends, though. It's better play with friends. It's not a good game to play solo. The thing is, it's got a bit of what I've been told because I have played just a tiny bit of Ark and I never played Forest. So basically, it's a hybrid between the Forest and Ark, and they put it on like honing us from the kids. Basically, they made that game about both of them mashed up together based on the movie, and that's it. That's where the game comes from,
Um,
basically.
I'm
Essentially,
not
they made a kids version of
Yeah.
Ark or the Forest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds actually pretty cool. I know Bombam isn't on my side on this one, but I really like the Forest, for example.
I don't like playing the Forest. I enjoyed watching bits of it. Like, at least Forest has a story to a degree, so there is a through line to follow. I just don't like aimless survivals. I don't like stuff like Ark or Minecraft. I
There is no
played
end to it.
some Minecraft. Yeah, so
I mean,
there's nothing to progress towards really.
the Forest is basically up there with the Long Dark and Subnautica
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
What they all have in common, like you said, is there's a through line. There's a red line through it. You can wander off and do survival for your own sake, or you just follow the story.
Yeah, that's why I enjoyed. I played a bit of Subnautica, and I think there is a lot to it. Plus, I think Subnautica does it really well, the progression, because to get the more advanced stuff, you need to progress through the story. So it shoves you through that as well. You can essentially do just the basic stuff, in one spot, but at the same time, to get to the more fun stuff, you actually have to also progress. And the Long Dark does the similar things here, where essentially you will run out of supplies if you don't progress, because the supplies obviously are not infinite.
Yeah. And this leads me to my point I was making about Grounded. There's a huge potential for a story there, and I hope they will have a through line, and it isn't survival just for the sake of survival. I was eyeing that game to play it with Jelly Rose on Thursdays because we always play together on Thursdays doing our survival game show, which I think is pretty great, and you should all tune in. And yeah, so Grounded or Green Hell might be the next project. I think I'm gonna go with Green Hell with her for now until Grounded gets more substantially added in early access. Green Hell is, by the way, another example for a game that also has a story, because your girlfriend gets kidnapped by indigenous people in the Amazon rainforest. Also pretty great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Green Hell after we finish the forest. And I'm gonna look forward to playing Grounded for myself and with her a little bit.
It's gonna have right. They're probably going to be. They already said they're obviously working on it, and it's only on early access, so I guess it's only going to get better. You get a tiny bit, a taste of the story, but I guess you get a taste of it, a taste only because it's early access, and they don't want to, they don't want to tell everyone what everything's happening. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of like they're trying to hold back a little bit, just showing, preview the game, and then at some point release the rest of whatever they have on the Sony.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying that I personally need a story, not just survival for the sake of survival, to go through these games. But Grounded looks like there's a huge potential for even a very good story there.
Yeah,
I think.
I bet it has a really good story.
And I'm looking forward to experiencing it. Okay. So, if that's everything about Grounded, we can move on.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone have anything to add, gentlemen?
Don't try to get close to the spiders.
Okay. Except Antonia. Antonia is cool.
Antonia is cool, yeah. Antonia, if you see her in my house, say hi to her for me. I'll be there later.
Okay. In gaming news, EA is experimenting with TV ads in their video games. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that's EA for you.
That's the next form of monetization. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
exactly
pay
what we wanted.
Just pay.
You remember? You remember? I called it 2 weeks ago. I called it. I said they were going to come out with something new for monetization, didn't I?
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that, but I personally think that's just on top of what they will be coming out with.
Yeah.
They will just add more to the pile. It's not like that they will stop finding other ways to monetize their stuff. I think what they are going to do is, depending on how well or unwell it goes, it might be just an option. They tell you, you know what? You can watch in-game ads and earn some minor or some in-game credits, like it's on the mobile game market, where you can watch an ad and get an extra life or whatever, something like that, in their upcoming games. Yeah, I think either it goes that route, so you get an incentive for watching an ad, or they force it on you and say, hey, you know what? Here, if you pay $20, you can skip all the ads.
Yeah, the way they have it is they pitch it as an optional thing. It's so far planned to be just in the EA sports games. So UFC 3, the next FIFA, and stuff like that. The problem is, they're gonna tie their essentially premium currency in a full price game to it. So in that light, it's not optional essentially because you're tying a sort of progression to watching the ads. So essentially, what you do is you say it's optional, but at the same time, if you don't watch the ads in a full-priced games, you're gimping yourself and essentially being at a whatever. You're essentially being gimped for not watching the ads because you're not getting the currency. You will progress slower than people who engage with them again in a full-priced game.
It's more than questionable at this point what they are doing, I think. Yeah, like you said, I mean, if I watch the ads, I get even more in-game currency or premium currency. Why shouldn't I watch it? That's exactly the point.
Also, not just EA, I think Blizzard's looking into it as well with Activision. So we might see, it's not some of the free-to-play games. I wouldn't be surprised to see like Hearthstone or Warzone to start having ads.
I think that will come at one point, because just imagine going to people or to brands and say, guys, look, we have this amount of players every day. If we run an ad on this frequency, like after each match, only after each match for 30 seconds, can you imagine how much money they will get? Just imagine that on Warzone. Warzone has a huge player base. I bet Bobby Kotick is frothing at the mouth at this point. Seriously. He does. Because at this point, you can probably charge, maybe not as much, but you're up there with the Super Bowl.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to say, essentially you get Super Bowl numbers almost every day.
Exactly. And that's gonna cost the people who advertise in the game a lot of cash. And Bobby Kotick, Activision, and Blizzard will rake in the coal like there's no tomorrow. Same goes for EA. Imagine how many people play FIFA. Imagine how many people play Madden. Just one ad after every online match. You don't even have to do it in the single player mode. Just after every match in the online mode. Val is just
I told you guys. It's sad to. Actually, I'm not proud of saying it, but I saw it coming. I told you guys 2 weeks ago. They were coming with something. They were coming with something. Like they were already in the works with something. Are not going to be good. Are they going to be in the game? Probably yes. Are everyone going to hate them? Yes. Are they going to stop playing the game? No. So that's the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a sad part because people that play sports games already put up with a lot of bull
Mhm.
crap, and they're just gonna be like, yeah, whatever, I'll deal with this. Because I'm pretty sure didn't 2K that put ads on their NBA games at some point, or at least tried to, and then taken it down.
Not that I
I think
know of ads, like real ads. No, they actually had like
yeah,
brands working with them, which is
that's normal.
it's not ads, but it was kind of like publicity within the game as well. So it was the game was a big advertisement, basically.
Yeah,
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 that's what it was. The game, the full game, the whole game was a big advertisement.
yeah.
To focus on brands and making money out of them instead of advertisement. There was like the park and the places where you
Yeah.
go to play the street games and everything. All of that was full
Mm.
of brands. Well, it is still today. Full of brands everywhere, and
Yeah.
you know, they make a lot of money out of that.
I mean, it's also not the first foray, obviously, like you two already pointed out, to bring advertisement into the game. I still remember that debacle that Street Fighter V had, which is like 1 or 2 years ago, and probably no one else remembers except me, where they put brand stickers on the fighters. And one of the brand stickers was like directly in the middle of Dalsim's forehead, who is a Hindu, and they basically took away his national identity with it. That was accidentally hilarious. Yeah, it was really bad. It was really, really bad. And Capcom got rid of it, but I think we're coming to a point where the infrastructure of the internet gets so good that we will see that we will the broadband speeds are there. You just have to implement the ads, basically.
Yeah.
And I think we will see that. The consoles are there at this point. We have PC anyways. PC was always there at this point. And we will see this coming. I wouldn't be surprised if my next Dota match was presented to me by Coca-Cola. So
That would be awesome.
Hmm?
That would be awesome.
I don't think Valve would go that far, but then again, Valve also made Artifact, and I wouldn't have guessed they go that far. So yeah,
Don't forget, they are big companies. They are a bunch of people that want more money. Year after year, they need to be making profit.
yes, I get that, but it goes back to a other discussion I had with a lot of people already. It's okay to make money. It's okay to make profit, but I have the feeling that these companies want to make all the money in the world. I love how Val gives me slightly subtled middle finger.
Oh no.
No. No, it's fine. I'm just joking, Val. I didn't mean. I know you didn't attack me there.
Oh my god. No. That wasn't. It wasn't my. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I got it. I just made a joke.
Um.
So it goes back to a discussion I had with a lot of people already, and I think at some point there needs to be a line drawn. What is okay and what's not okay anymore. If, let's say, Warzone throws in ads, I can see why, because it's a free-to-play game. I don't have to play it. I don't have to agree with it. Where it gets iffy if you do it in a full-price game like FIFA.
Yeah.
Then it gets really freaking iffy.
Yeah.
Dude, FIFA has a development cycle of 9 months.
No.
We already established
I
that.
agree with you in regards of you get on a free-to-play game, which is Warzone, yes. But in Warzone is very tricky. They're also very clever with what they do. because they got the free-to-play games, and what they're doing now is doing challenges. The challenges to unlock certain weapons, which are somehow powerful all of a sudden. To get those weapons, the only option you have really is to go on multiplayer. And what do you need to go on multiplayer? You need to buy the entire game.
good job, Warzone.
I see the moves from Amala.
Okay, I didn't know that. I mean, it's really a dirty move. It really is.
Yeah, let me tell you the one example, because I was trying to do that without having to go to multiplayer. I own multiplayer anyway. I was trying to do it without multiplayer. So there is one weapon, the SA-87, I think it is, or I can't remember the name of the. There is one weapon that actually is really powerful right now. No, not powerful, but it's a good weapon. So basically, to get that weapon, you have to kill enemies within a radius of a smoke, like a smoke grenade. You tell me how you do that on Warzone, or like I was trying to do it on Plunder. It was going probably. You had to kill actually 3, I believe. 3 in the smoke, not 1. 3 in the smoke in 15 different games. So that is going to take, if you try to do it the free way, that's probably going to take you about, I would say, 5 hours to do it, at least. If you're good. If you're good, probably less. But if you're on average, probably going to take you about 5 hours to do it. If you go multiplayer, you probably do it within 2 hours. Yeah, it's it's money. At the end of the day, they are trying to make money, and advertisement on the games. I mean, it might be a very subtle advertisement, and it might be something that you are going to be able to skip. But if you watch it, you get rewarded.
I think that's actually the way they want to do it first. That you, like we at the start already said, that you get in-game currency, premium in-game currency, or whatever. But I think this will slowly fade away. The more people are accepting it, the more it will become normalized, and in 5 or 10 years' time, we will just have ads, no questions asked.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they give you what I mean, normal in-game currencies I can only speak for Paladins, I can only speak for Rogue Company. You get 1,000 in-game Monopoly money for $10. Yeah? So this is the normal measure you have. So if you watch an ad for 30 seconds and they give you maybe 50 in-game currency or 100 in-game currency and cap it at 2-3 ads a day, depending on how much they give you. I think I'm already way too generous with 100 in-game currency. Mm-hmm. Then they won much more than you did. Even if it's just 1 ad or 2 ads. Because they get paid in large chunks. Because you know actually how it works. Well, you're a professional streamer. You go to your sponsors and says, I have this many eyes on me. You don't go there and say, look, I have actually, this is my CCV. Yeah? You go there and say, these are my socials, these are my followers, I have this potential, I have these impressions, because you sell ads through impressions, and this is how you make the money. Not by who actually watches that. So, Activision, EA get paid in advance anyways, huge amounts of money, and they just win. They win. What do they lose if they give you 50 or 100 in-game currency? Nothing. They lost nothing, essentially, because that money doesn't exist anyways. And at some point they will say, hey, you know what? We're taking that away too. Because it's normalized.
They will take it back, but they will probably keep it. But the fact that what you said, you make a really good point. And also, to add to your point, what's going to happen with that currency? You're going to spend it in the game again.
Yeah.
So it creates a loop. So you're not keeping that because the currency is only valuable in the game. So you're going to spend it in the game, and it's going to come back to the game, and they're gonna give it back to you on the ads, and they're gonna come back to the game. And in the meantime, they're making tons of money.
They probably have already an allocated in-game budget, as stupid as that sounds, for the ads. They probably went through the math back and forth to make sure their profit is good enough.
Yeah. Well,
And that is actually.
Oh, they're brilliant. They're brilliant. They're
No,
brilliant.
they're not.
They're brilliant in regards. I'm not saying it's good, but I think they're brilliant because I know how to think. I know how to think. I know what they're doing. It's so like you can see it. You can see them coming. But the problem is that if people keep playing and purchasing the games, that's the problem. That's where the problem starts. I mean, you can't do that. If you keep doing it, then you are giving them money. I admit it. I have stopped playing FIFA since 2 years ago because I don't believe in the game anymore. I don't think they upgrade it enough. I don't think they do anything for the game. I don't think they, the game is good, but it's just, to me, it's stale. It's the same game over and over again. I don't think they're doing anything to impress me to buy the game. So I've given up on that game, on that franchise. I've given up already. So if I'm planning to buy a football game, in my opinion, I will go for the other one, for the is it Pro Evolution Soccer?
Yes, it's Pro Evolution Soccer.
Yeah, that's Konami, right?
Yeah, the Konami one. So I'll probably
Okay.
go and play that game because it's actually really good. I've seen it, and it's really nice. It's just, in my opinion, I don't believe in the game. I stopped paying them, and I stopped playing that game, which, I'm doing my part. But if people keep buying it and keep playing it, that's where the problem is. I'm not gonna stop playing because there is other 20,000 people, that are not stop playing. They keep playing it. It's like, yeah, but if those 20,000 people jump on a bridge right now, are you gonna do it as well? You're not gonna jump off a bridge because everyone else is doing it. I mean, have a bit of common sense. They're doing a practice that is completely wrong. They keep doing it over and over again. Just stop supporting them. Stop giving them money.
The same goes for every person out there. You have the power of the purse, of your purse. Vote with your wallet. If you do not like these practices, stop buying the game. No matter how much you want it, no matter how much you crave it. Stop. Please do stop buying that stuff.
Yeah, there's a problem though with the sports gaming community. They're so detached from the rest of it that like these conversations don't really happen within that community. It's just like a lot of it is a circle jerk or an echo chamber where they just keep like complaining about stuff, but at the same time, just because it's the newest one, big chunk of the community is really competitive, so they just keep buying the new games just to stay in the loop. And their audience is there just to watch them, say, open packs in FIFA or whatever. So unless someone big from the community is gonna be like, okay, guys, we gotta take a long, hard look at what's happening and actually try to do something about it, nothing's gonna change.
Are there
It has to come from that community.
really people who watch other people opening packs on FIFA?
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, that's massive.
That's a thing.
Massive. Yeah, that's a really big thing on YouTube more than anything.
Yeah.
It's just, it's something I do like. I actually, I felt that because I played FIFA, and when the whole packs was starting, like about, was it 3 years ago? Yeah, it was like when it first came out. I was like, I got addicted to it. Not addicted, but I fell for it, and I purchased packs. I purchased real money, real life currency to get the in-game currency and buy more packs. And I fell for it when it first came out. I had my job. I had enough money. I said, why not put another extra 50, extra $50 into the game? Like, not gonna hurt me. And then I opened the packs and I got nothing. And I did it again. And the second time I was like, that's not right. First, they're not giving me anything. And second, I'm just wasting my money here. And that's when I realized, oh, this is literally gambling, which I don't like. So I stopped doing it. Since that moment,
Yeah.
never did it again. Yeah, I'm not, I'm not a fan of gambling. I don't do gambling. I don't like it. To me, it just felt like gambling right off the bat. Imagine, and I was like, what was it? It was nearly 30 at the time when I did it for the first time. And imagine that to a, I don't know, 15-year-old kid which has their dad's account on their Xbox. Is you're creating a monster there.
The other issue I see is, and this is for the gaming community as a whole, because I see it with myself as well. I said I would never buy a skin. Then I bought a skin on Paladins because I liked it so much. Then I said I would never buy a battle pass. Then I bought a Paladins battle pass because I liked the skins in it. And finished it to completion. It's like at some point you get accepting to it. If you go into those kind of communities, you start absorbing it, and you become more. Maybe it's also a little bit of issue I have, but you become more accepting to these kinds of practices. And I'm still very cautious with my money. And for example, I don't regret buying the Paladins Battle Pass I bought, because it was actually cool skins. I like those skins. And the other thing is that I played a lot of Paladins at that point. So it was okay. I spent money and I don't feel like I have been robbed. Obviously, the money will be gone once the game shuts down, which will be probably not too far in the not too far distant future, because Paladins isn't doing too hot at the moment. But yeah, I don't regret it. Overall, I spent like 30 euros on the game, on a free to play game, so that's a huge amount for me. Other people would look at me and say, "What? Only 30 euros?" And
But that's, in my opinion, that's a completely different story. And it's got, it's a free to play game. I support when it's a free to play game and they're selling you something and it's kind of like skins or whatever it is. It's not affecting gameplay. I'm all in for it. Those developers have to eat. Those developers have to get paid, and the people, no one does anything for free. Like, obviously they're putting a game out there. They're maintaining the game. They're improving the game. They're adding stuff to the game. They have to make money from somewhere. Like, imagine you doing it and not getting any money. You would say, "Why am I doing this?" So
yeah,
it does, make sense in that regard. If it's a
my
free to play game, I'll say perfect. Go on. Just obviously don't go crazy, but if you like something, go ahead, buy it, because these people deserve to your money, because they're putting something out there that is free for you and you can enjoy as much as you want.
yes, I get that point, but my point was more general, that some practices are getting easier accepted at some point when you're in the community and when you're interacting with the people there. That was more a generalized point I made. I don't say if you like a free to play game, then don't spend any money on it. If you like a free to play game, I actually encourage you to at least give the developers money, like 20, 30 euros at one point. So, because if you've played the game to a substantial amount of time, that is. If you play it like for 50 minutes and say, "I'm never gonna play it again," like I did yesterday, but it's not a free to play game as well. I played Rocket Arena yesterday and I didn't like it at all. It's also not free to play, but that's a different story. Yeah, to loop back, if you like a free to play game and you played it for a substantial amount of time, and I'm meaning like 30 hours, 60 hours, whatever, then drop the developers money, because then they deserve it, because they entertained you for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I did the same. Say Warframe, I spent maybe 25 pounds just to get one of the older Warframes as Prime version. I was like, why not? I've spent maybe 200 hours on it.
It makes complete sense. The problem that I have with these, games with practices of EA is not the problem. But like I said, I saw them coming from a mile away because I know how they think, I know how they work, and I kind of like it's a business product, and it's very obvious what they're doing. They want more money and they keep monetizing, but they keep getting the money. So it's like, we'll do it. They're paying for it. They're paying full on price for the game. And also, they are paying for the stuff they don't even know they're going to get ever in their lives. They're paying to get Messi. They're probably never going to get Messi in 3 years. And they have probably spent £1,000 on packs. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
because it's the gambling. It's the you don't know what you're gonna get. It's just a random thing. So that's the problem with it. If you
Yeah.
pay for a season pass which has a set specific stuff that you know you're gonna get, or you don't like them, you don't pay for it. I've had a 2 seasons ago that I think it was Call of Duty. I didn't like what I had on the season pass. I was like, I'm not gonna buy. I'm not gonna buy. There's no point. I'm not interested in it. So I just skipped it. Like, who cares? I skipped it. And then when you go into Overwatch or you go into this, you don't know what you're gonna get. You like, they hooked me at the first, and I felt it. I was like, wow, okay. They got me a couple of times. They got me a good couple of times, and then I realized it's like, no, this is gambling. I'm throwing my money at them.
I mean, even Paladins has chests. I've never bought one of those. I got one for free, which I opened, and I got like a sticker, and that's about it. Bam is laughing.
It is a full on.
No.
It's a full on game. It's predatory because it's the game. Those games, Madden, FIFA, are targeted for the younger audience. Well, all audience basically. The younger audience have access to those games. The younger audience have access to the Ultimate Team, which is the main focus of Madden and FIFA, which are the ones that are making them the money. They have to they obviously there's got to be something to stop them from doing that, because that's pure 100% gambling. And there is no, if you twisting that person's brain, you literally just twisting it, because this person is going to grow up thinking, if I throw my money at this, I might get lucky one day. And they keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and they get into the loop. That's not right. So that's my problem with it. And you also pay for the full game, which is it baffles me. So that's why in myself, I have stopped supporting it. And I do put money towards Fortnite. I do put money towards the season pass on. I buy skins on Fortnite, and I put money towards the season pass on Call of Duty, and I'm not ashamed on that, because I know what I'm going to get. I pay for it. It's a free to play game. I don't mind it. I don't mind giving them some money, because I said, they're giving me entertainment, so why not? With FIFA, I decided to just to stop it, because it's like it's become predatory. They don't respect any rules, even though the game's good. I like it, but I just think it's just too much, and they're not doing enough to give me back. So I don't feel incentivized to buy their games anymore.
I mean, we'll see where the rabbit hole leads at this point. It's just also really enjoyable to watch for me how it all unfolds and comes together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll see what they come up next with. I have like sometimes I have the feeling I'm just watching some evil scientist putting up his next scheme to take over the world. No, this is really the feeling I get when I watch these companies announcing their new monetization plans. And it's highly entertaining to me.
Like I said, they're always looking for more money.
Yeah.
Always looking for more money. They're never going to stop.
Yeah, I think the best thing about it, though, to like, as just watching it from the sidelines, is them trying to justify it.
Yeah, the reasons they come up with are amazing.
It's surprise mechanics, yay!
Surprise me. That was the best one. Okay, moving on from surprise mechanics to surprise mechanics in the CEO, in the offices of Ubisoft. Did you hear the news, Lord Val?
The change management, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there has been a lot of stuff happening at Ubisoft. A lot of very, very, very questionable stuff.
I wouldn't mind meetings at a strip clubs too, honestly.
Yeah.
We should record this podcast at a strip club.
I mean, I can make that happen. And then we are all getting banned.
Yeah.
I should just let some footage of orc massage run in the background.
Oh god.
Okay. So what happened? Ubisoft, there was a big hoo-ha about Ubisoft and what happened. I don't want to focus so much on the human side because that's just flat out terrible what happened there. I want to focus more on the creative side of things or on what it means for video games. Yves Guillemot, or whatever his name is, the CEO of Ubisoft, who was the CEO of Ubisoft for how long? 2 decades? 2.5 decades?
Almost 3.
Almost 3
Over
decades?
3 decades.
Yeah.
Because it's a family business, the Guillemot family.
Stepped down. He stepped.
No, he didn't.
He
Did
didn't?
he?
I
don't
think
so. I think it was the other execs.
the other
company.
execs. Okay. I thought I've read news that he specifically stepped down.
No, because it's his family that's running the business. So no, he actually is heading he's gonna run some of the positions
Okay.
that have emptied
Okay.
with the
No.
execs that were
No.
I think
Stepping down.
they worded as advised to step down.
Yeah.
So there was the big one was the Hepscott.
Yeah, Hepscott,
I'm
exactly.
forgetting the first name. He was the creative director. He was essentially the guy who would
Exactly.
green light games or change course of a game if it essentially wasn't to his liking. So it's been pinned as one of the reasons why all the Ubisoft games have been so samey, especially the big 3: Watch Dogs, Ghost Recon, and Assassin's Creed.
And probably why we didn't get any other Splinter Cell games.
Yeah, because essentially it was everything that came out from the big studio, from the main studio, was essentially him and his quote unquote taste in gaming coming out.
Yeah.
So him stepping down is a big thing because it possibly could mean a bit more diverse catalog for Ubisoft.
Which would be very
singles-
welcome.
Yeah, it would be very welcome because it's essentially instead of getting just one person's ideas coming out, we'd have an actual projects by developers who care about stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Though the main fear is that someone who was working underneath Hapscott is going to take over after after Yves Guillemot goes back to as just heading the company and not taking part of the creative process. So we might get a creative director who was essentially brought up by Hepscott. So it might go back into what it was before. But yeah, Hepscott was also the guy behind introducing microtransactions. And also he was the guy to force multiple characters in Odyssey. Originally it was supposed to be just Cassandra. But essentially he was like, yeah, women don't sell, so he forced them to make a second library character as well. So yeah,
what a lad. I'm glad he's gone for various
all-round
reasons.
swell guy. Too bad though, so just because it's he had such a big position and he made so much money for Ubisoft, whether we like it or not, he's gonna get a really good job at a different company.
Yes. Because he has to just point to his track record and say, look how much money I made Ubisoft. But that's beside the point. I wish him well in his future endeavors. I hope he doesn't ever touch a company or video games again. because this is not what I want from my video games. So, what could that mean? I hope that Ubisoft takes a look into their past, because Ubisoft has always been a good company until now with good games. Like until let's say 5 years ago. Then they started to changing really badly and gotten really samey. And I think everything came to a head with Ghost Recon Breakpoint,
Yeah.
which was so poorly received. I think it was one of the biggest flops in the company's history.
Mhm.
And they even tried to retool it, so people got what they so it gotten better. But I think this game is so fundamentally broken at this point, because the level design and everything they did was geared towards this more gear-based approach that you just not, how do I say it, can repair it. You cannot fundamentally repair it. And I appreciate their effort in just doing that, and that's good on them. But I think Ghost Recon Breakpoint is a lost cause. And just to hammer my point home, where I want to go is, I hope they can avoid this in the future, and I hope they put more people in this creative department and give them more freedom. Companies want to make money, that's the point, I get it. But on the other hand, companies also need to take risks to make money. Obviously, some things might flop, and some things might turn out amazing. You never know that. I think the biggest issue, or one of the biggest issues we have in the video game industry at the moment, is that big publishers are averse of taking risks. Do you know how much people had to fight to get 2 Rayman games? Or a second Beyond Good and Evil? Something they've wanted for ages.
Yeah.
It's also the same. Another to get sidetracked for a little bit. People wanted a new Crash Bandicoot game for years. They've been asking Activision, just make a new Crash Bandicoot game. And then they released the remaster of the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, and Activision was actually surprised that it did well. Hey, of course it does well. You're giving people what they are asking for. Of course it does well.
It also helped that it was a really good remaster for the 3 games.
Yes, obviously, but you get the point, right? That
Yeah.
just give people what they ask for. It's not rocket science. It might not make all the money in the world, but it will build up also goodwill. And that's often more valuable than just making all the money in the world. And I personally hope we will see the return of some Ubisoft franchises like Splinter Cell. I want a new Splinter Cell. Please give me a new Splinter Cell. And not like the one Blacklist was fine, but just give me a, like Pandora's Tomorrow. You know, hardcore stealth. Give me a team-based Ghost Recon shooter where I command the people around like I did in Advanced Warfighter or even in the earlier games. I hope to see that we get a new Rainbow Six. Give me a Rainbow Six Vegas 3, goddammit. This is what I want, and I hope we get that. I hope we get that. I really hope.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the hope behind this entire kerfuffle when it comes to also change within the company, that we can get some of the legacy titles coming back in full force, as well as something, because Ubisoft's always been this company that made sometimes really old games or published really old games, and I want to see something just completely out of left field again from Ubisoft, because it's a in a way it's a European-based company, and it always had that, not the Eurojank, but the Euro weird in it. And I think if that comes back as well with some games, because when we look at Rayman, the original ones, it's so unique, and I hope that something like that comes back again. Yeah.
It's gonna take some time for them to recover from this, because obviously games are made in, nowadays they're made on 2, 3 years, 4 years. It's gonna take some time. I think it's just that the company has gone in some way in a recession when they go like back and back and back, rather than innovating and moving forward. They go. I think Ubisoft is the only company that's gone backwards on gaming. They're still making money though, but
Yeah.
they're not innovating anymore. They're not pioneers of nothing anymore. I mean, if it's still working for them and it's still giving them the profits, and they're setting targets, and oh, well, I'm not gonna complain about that. I mean, that's, if that works for them, so be it. It's a problem. I don't play the game, so, but I don't think any, like, if I think on companies that are trying to do something new, you never see a Ubisoft game up there that trying to be innovative, trying to be doing something different, trying to bring more people in. They just keep doing the same, Assassin's Creed over and over again, and they go now open world, so because it's gonna have more life and it's going to have microtransactions and it's going to make them more money, but it's the
Yeah.
same thing over and over again. They're not innovating. They're not trying to do something different. So yeah, unfortunately, it's the one company that I've seen is just playing. It's stale. It's not doing nothing like new. So they need. I mean, obviously, the new management is going to come. In my opinion, very much needed for the company, because they've gone absolutely, like, there's absolutely no, I don't know, nothing new. I mean, everything they're coming out with is the same old franchises they've been making money of all the time. So I don't really know what the next step is. I mean, it's gonna take some time for new management. Obviously, new management doesn't mean everything's gonna change, and all of a sudden, Ubisoft is gonna be the best gaming company out there. It's gonna take a long time. If they're going to work in new projects, those projects are going to take them a good chunk of years to get it to where they want to be. But it's a step in the right direction, in my opinion. But let's
Yes.
hope. Let's hope it's a step on the right direction. Changing management doesn't mean it's the solution always,
Yeah.
because if you bring the management with the same mentality, then you are doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So let's hope the management brings a different, mentality. They start thinking on, innovating, and they start thinking on doing something.
You basically, in management, you basically need people who balance each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is also, obviously, because they've been right now also reacting a lot to people talking about this subject. There's been, so I assume, at least it looks like it, that they're also taking feedback on their entire portfolio as a whole from this, and that's the sentiment you get a lot, that their catalog is samey, stale, and it needs something new. So I think that's going to be brought up within that company as well, that there's something needs to change within the creative process or the approval of ideas that might lead to something new. But yeah, it's too early to tell at this point, because they have just now, we have the new consoles, so they have projects already lined up. So we might not see anything new come out of this until maybe a year or two.
Change for these kind of things needs time. I'm well aware of this. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
my dream would be down the line, 2, maybe 3 years, an announcement for a Splinter Cell game. I would love that. or even a new IP. There have been new IPs by Ubisoft, but they haven't really pushing them.
No, they haven't.
New
Yeah.
IPs are not. Yeah, they're not as relevant as other companies are trying to do. That's why you see those big companies like Microsoft or Sony investing on those independent developers because they're coming up with the ideas nowadays. Like the big companies, the AAA studios, they are not coming out with anything new. They're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
They're not going out of the safety. They're not going to try. And the ones that tried have probably flopped, like BioWare. It's a very high risk, so they're not doing it anymore. So that's why these big companies, these Microsoft and Sony guys, they're like starting to stir the rise into the independent developers because they're like, okay, guys, you are going to come out with the game of the year because these guys are not. It's like the Ghost of Tsushima. Man, that's a good game. Man, this is not a AAA studio. There you go. Those are the great games come from those people. The regular games, the regular. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. They're good games, and we enjoy them. But the games that we play, yeah, we used to, yeah, they keep coming out every year. Don't worry about them. They're gonna keep going. They're not gonna change. The good ones, the ones that are going to be making, the game of the year and they deserve all the praise they can get, those are the ones made by the small guys, which are risking stuff and they're doing something different, they're experimenting, they're coming out with new ideas. The big companies are, in my opinion, in my eyes, they have become very stale lately. And Ubisoft is a clear example. It's a very clear example.
Yeah, and this is like I said, my hope is that maybe Ubisoft, of all the big companies out there that do gaming, could be a little bit different. They don't need to be complete oddballs like Devolver, thank you. Yeah, they don't need to be like that. But I want to see at least one big company that takes a little bit of risk. And maybe Ubisoft is the one who does it. I don't know. We'll see, but personally, I try to see the positive. I try to say that we get something out of it as gamers. Because in the end, like we always say on this show here, in the end we all want just good games. And if just one good game, one innovative good game comes out of that, the chance was already worth it.
Yep, very much.
Anything else to add, gentlemen?
Nope.
No.
Good. Then we are going to close out the show. And that was it about Ubisoft. We are closing out the 16th episode of the Orcocast with a hopeful mentality that Ubisoft changes their ways maybe just a tiny little bit. And I bid everyone a farewell. Talk to us in the comments. And yeah, well, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Lorval Twitch. You can also find me on Instagram, Lorval Gaming, and on TikTok, Lorval Gaming as well. If you want to catch up with me on the streams, I am live every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday on twitch.tv/Lorval Gaming.
I'm on Twitch and Twitter as the Orcosaurus. I'm on Instagram with Orcosaurus, and you can find me streaming Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Bum, where can we find you?
Every once in a while, I show up in Orco's chat, and that's about it.
Yes. And possibly, maybe in the future on YouTube, I've heard. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's like... Yeah, if that comes out, maybe sometime in like a year or two.
Alright, everyone, have a nice day. Thank you for listening, and take very good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye.